Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rebecca, I'm 28 and I live in Newcastle, and you are reporting for Beauty Duty. So today I am giving you a halo eye tutorial. It's been requested by a few of my friends that I do a tutorial on how I achieve my halo eyes because it's my favourite type of look to do, and they've watched me do them on Zoom and I can get a halo eye on in 2 seconds, but I have done a really slowed down tutorial for you. I'm using the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. It's covered in other stuff at the moment, so I won't hold that up. And I've also added in some pigments as well from indie brands, so that's Kyema Cosmetics in Deja Vu, and on my inner corner I have K Rose B in Poseidon. I'm using indie brand lashes and an indie brand lipstick. So I'm really happy with how this look turned out. And today we hit 100 subscribers, so thank you very much everyone for your support, and thank you very much for watching my videos. My Mani MUA Lunar Beauty Moon Prism collection video is my most watched video on my channel, and I was really proud of it, so I was really happy that people seemed to really like that from me. Anyway, enough of me babbling on. If you want to see me create this look, do keep on watching and I'll see you soon. Hello! So my base is on, brows are done and eyes are primed. So I'm doing a tutorial, a halo eye tutorial using my Jaclyn Hill palette, the Volume 2, which I'm sure everyone knows what this looks like, and this is there. I haven't played with this enough, so I'm going to try and recreate something that I did for Instagram, because a lot of people really liked the look, and when I commented on it saying if you want me to recreate this, let me know, and a couple of people did ask for it to be recreated. So we're doing a sort of sunset eye, and I am going to also use a little indie brand pigment as well from Kyema Cosmetics in the shade. Oh, can I get this open? Yeah, it's open. Deja Vu, so I'll use that in my halo eye. So this will be a full halo eye tutorial. I will show you how I cut my halo in as well. Okay, so to get started, I am going to go into the shade Crazy. That's appropriate, which is that shade just down there. I'm just going to grab something to use as a mirror. I'm going to use this here. So this is using my sort of tones that I really love. Again, sort of the purple. I'm going to peel the backing off this mirror so I can see into it a bit better. So I'm just going at the shade Crazy. There is a bit of kick up, actually quite a lot of kick up in the pan, and tapping that off. And make sure I have all my creases out on my eye. As always, I'm primed with the Be Perfect primer because that's what I'm loving at the moment. So I'm just going to tuck this right into the crease here. And because I will be cutting it out, I don't pay much attention to the lower sort of area either. So I'm just whacking that down in a rounded out shape. So when I open my eye, you won't see it much because I will be building a few colours one on top of another. I'm hoping I can remember exactly what I did, but if I can't, it'll be close. Just do the same on this side. I'm just taking this on a brush that I got in a cheap set in TK Maxx. Because I have very round eyes, this shape really does suit me quite well, I think. So that's the colour laid down. I'm just wiping off the same brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to soften the edges very gently. I don't want to blow the colour out too much. A little bit with the same brush. And just so that nothing is too harsh an edge. I do really like the formula in this palette actually. And then I'm going next into the shade Dance Party, which is just this shade there. So it's a bright, sort of a brighter pink shade. And I'm going to use that to blend out the edges of Crazy a bit more. I'm just taking a BH brush, which is quite similar actually to the brush that I just used to add that in. So I'll just tap a bit into Dance Party. It's quite a lot of kick up in the pan, but I'm being careful because I've already got my base on. There's not any fallout on my face yet, because I do make sure to tap off really well, and I'm so far using quite dense brushes. That's the key. If you are a base first person, I would recommend to use denser brushes and just gently blend out the edge. So what I'm doing with this, when I lay it down, I am sort of giving it a little blend as I lay this colour down, because I don't want to blow this colour out too much either. So I'm just really carefully sort of packing that on just to brighten everything up a little bit. If you don't have this palette yet, I do really recommend it, especially if you don't have a lot of these tones. And I do think the colour story of this is just really, really, really nice. I haven't really played in the neutrals in this because, you know, it's not something that interests me in this palette. I bought it for the purples and the oranges and the reds, the warm, the yummy warm tones. And just wipe off this brush and give the edges a little blender-oo. So just really small circular motions so that you can control the colour. I bought this when it was still open from the Morphe store in Newcastle. I love that we have a Morphe store here, I have to admit. Even when I'm not buying anything, I do like to just go in and have a little look around and see what's happening, because they have quite a few brands in there as well, so I can go in and touch like some of the brands that I might not buy in the store, might wait until Beauty Bay has them on offer and things like that. But it's nice to be able to touch like Nabla, Luna Beauty, they even have Jeffree Star. To be honest, I own a lot of Jeffree Star, so I don't really need to go and swatch that in there. They had I think they even had, did they have Suva or something like that? They had P. Louise. Yeah, they had loads and loads of brands. So I do enjoy that. And then what I'm going into next is the shade My Man, which is just that bright orange just here. And I'm going to pop that again just on the outside of the colour, and I'm going to overlap it slightly. And I'm taking this on my Morphe Y20, which again is another dense sort of packing brush, which is really good for these kind of colourful looks when I just want to build colours on top of each other. Okay. So this, to be fair, because I've already done it, I do know where I'm going with it, but this is already a bit different to what I've done before. This is not a difficult look to do, but it does pack a really nice punch, in my opinion. And something about pink and orange together is just really, really stunning. Let me know how this positioning for a tutorial is. Is this okay? I'll come in closer when I cut my halo out. I've been promising for a while that I would show how I cut my halos, so we'll do that today. There we go. And I'm now going to take a fluffier brush. I'm going to take my Jessup 227 soft definer, which is this brush here, and I'm going to blend out the edges of this shade and just really give it a nice blend out. I've never had an issue with this palette to make it look blended and nice or anything like that. I need to do a bit of work on the purple, but I'm just gonna blend the edges. So then we've got our shape, and I can go in and do the real sort of work, a bit more of the work now. I'm just gonna drag it out a little bit. This is completely different, not completely different, but quite different to what I did on Instagram, because I can't really remember, but just make sure I have everything nice. And then I'm just going to tap in with a really fluffy, fluffy-ish brush, which is the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill JH31. I'm going to tap into No Joke, which is the bright yellow. I'm not going to lift it up. There's only one bright yellow in this palette. And I'm just going to buff. That didn't really do anything. buff around the outside here with it and drag the whole shape out a bit and just add that little bit of a sunset. So I'm hoping that's showing up well on camera. It's just created that really nice sort of sunset effect. I love that, the sort of sunset look. So it's really making that, so the orange I had made it it'd become a little pink. So what the yellow really does is makes it orange again, as well as adding that little pop of yellow to the look as well. There we are. And I'm going to take my Morphe x Jaclyn Hill JH40, which is this sort of little tapered one here, and I'm tapping back into Dance Party, which is the sort of brighter and lighter of the two purples that I used, and I'm just going to bring that back in a bit more just on the top here, because I have lost that sort of really bright, yummy sort of purpley pink that I just love so much. I know that if I'm looking at something that is not purple and pink and I love it, that it means I'm really excited about it, because as I said, my favourite colour story is this. So I'm just going back in again with my Man, the orange, and bringing that back in again and just adding a little bit more vibrancy there. It's not a difficult look to do at all. It just, for me, it takes a bit of like fiddling, because I want to make sure that I can get all the colours the sort of vibrancy that I want them. And going back in again with the same brush that I laid down the yellow with, and tapping back into that and tapping around just really gently around the outside of the orange that I've just laid down again. How are we looking? What do you think? It's like, I wish people could reply. Then taking my massive fluffy brush and going into Certify, which is a sort of Certified even, which is the whitey cream colour, and I'm just gonna buff slightly around the outside, really gently with it, and just make sure that everything is really nicely blended, especially in the inner corner as well, because I don't want anything harsh. I've got a slight harsh line here, so I'm just going to take one of these sort of dense brushes and make sure it's blended out. I do have a dry bit on my eye here, so I'm just making sure that I can soften up that little bit there as well. Okie dokie. And then I am going to use a slight bit of Temptress, which is the black. It does show a bit of sparkle in it, but I don't really think that shows much on the eye. And I'm going to take that on again on my JH40, which is this sort of tapered brush here. Just going to wipe that off a little bit, and I'm going to tap ever so gently into that. Really make sure I tap my brush off really well, and I'm just going to add a little bit of deepening just into here, and I'm going to wiggle that round into the crease just really gently. I'm not using a lot of that at all. And then make sure I've got it on the inner corner as well. And do the same on the other eye. I will go back in and neaten this and blend it through as well. This is probably the best quality Morphe palette that I own, I have to be honest. I really think it's excellent quality. Then just wiping off this brush again and going back into Crazy, which is the darkest purple that we initially used. And I'm actually just packing that over the black a bit. Because I don't necessarily want the black to present as a black. I just was using it to deepen up. Then I'm just going to pack over this. My thing with this palette is I just look in it and I see purples and that's all I want to do. There's nothing wrong with that because it is my favourite, but I'm trying to make sure I branch out a little bit. Just making that there. Then I'm going to take this brush again and going back into shade Dance Party, which is the lighter of the two purples I used. And just going to blend out the edge of the sort of black and purple here. Just make sure I don't have any sort of harsh lines there, because I think the thing with the halo colours, you really don't want anything to be too harsh, just nice and blown out. You can do really simple looks with the halo eye. This is probably one of the most sort of fiddly looks, not fiddly but difficult, not even, is it difficult? I don't know. The most fancy look, I should say, that I've done on my channel so far. So I'm just building up the colours a bit again, just making sure I've not lost anything, and going back in with, got some of the pigment all over that palette, with this brush again, going back into the orange. So you can go, you could have done the black first and done it like that, but I find it's easier to add the black as the accent. And then back in and doing that, taking the brush that had the yellow one, which is called No Joke, and blend, 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 blend. Oof. Pack that pigment on a bit. Do have a bit of fallout, but nothing that I can't fix. And because I'm keep building the colours, the more and more blown out it's getting, which is what I really do want to go for. Elena, if you watch this, I think you've got something right by doing your base first. You know, I do keep saying, no, I much prefer to do my eyes first, but when it comes to filming, I definitely think having your base on definitely is better. Okay, how are we looking? And, oh, itchy nose. I'm just going to grab my 231 Luxe Petite crease just here, and I'm going to just give it one final blend. There's nothing on this brush at all. I'm just making sure that there's nothing too harsh going on. Again, back in the fluffy brush, going to the shade Certified, just the cream, and just blend around the edges of it all. Often that can take care of fallout as well, which it has done. The eyes similar? Yeah, looking pretty similar to each other. Okay, now on to the fun part. Well, don't know about that. I'm going to cut my crease. So I'm using at the moment one of the Acid Rain brushes from P. Louise to do this. I'm just deciding what I'm going to cut my crease with. I'm going to cut with my Be Perfect then, making sure I don't add loads. Really don't want too much. Okay, so I start in the center like this, and I go right up slightly above the crease. And just keep tapping it outwards, not necessarily adding anything to the brush, and just keep tapping. Add a little bit more to the brush. Keep tapping it out. You don't want to be smearing loads of pigment onto the eye, because that's when it's going to not look so great, especially not on an eye like mine that is so textured. And keep tapping that, bringing it right out a bit here. But you do want it to like rise the most in the middle. And I'll show you how I like re-intensify up in the crease as well. So I'm just gonna do the normal trick that other people do, which is flick your eye upwards and get it to transfer upwards. Okay, and just keep tapping. Does depend on the sort of primer that you use as well. And then I'm just going to soften out the edges and then just keep tapping that out. And then you tap with your ring finger because it gives the least pressure to the eye. Okay, so that's how I do that. It's not rocket science. You just have to go, I can do it fast, but you have to go really gently with it. And then what I'm going to do, because I'm laying down a pigment, is do I lay down a base first? Nah. I'm going to take my glitter glue, take it on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to literally cover what I've just done with glitter glue. So what you can do is pack all colour all over your lid, put the glitter glue down how I've positioned it, and put stuff on top as well. Especially if it's a more sort of, I do have my elbow resting on the table to give me extra support. I'm just going to tap that all over the lid. Yeah, so you can lay down the dark pigment and then lay the glitter glue down without cutting your crease if you want as well. So that is another option of how to do this. Just tap, 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 tap. Make sure you don't add too much. And tap out the edges a little bit. Make sure I've gotten to my lash line. And yeah. So I really don't use much glitter glue at all. Because with my eye shape, what happens is it gets really sticky and I'll get clogged in where I've got that sort of fold there. And then what it does is it lifts anything that I've laid down. So what I'm going to do next is take this pigment here, which is really pretty. Let me give you a little swatch of this. So this is by an indie brand called Kaima, K-A-I-M-A. I will link it down below, cosmetics. And it's got a really nice sort of duochrome to it. And I'm just going to grab another flat brush. So I've got this here, which is my Jessup 233 cream shader. And although I have laid down a bit of glitter glue, I am going to spray it slightly so that I have more control over the pigment. Make sure I don't get too much on the brush. And then I just tap. It's beautiful, isn't it? Tap it over and it'll adhere to the glitter glue. So this is a UK indie brand. It's actually based near me, I'm pretty sure in Sunderland. Little indie brand. And I'm really on a pigment kick at the moment. And I just think indie brands just do the pigments so well. And then just take the curve. So I always use a curved brush. And I literally just go like that. Up there. And then that's covered the lid really nicely. And make sure I get all along the lash line. Just a final little tap. Make sure I've made the most of getting the pigment on the lid. So that looks really stunning, doesn't it? Just, it's such a pretty pigment. It shipped really fast, really inexpensive. I can't remember off the top of my head how much it cost me. And then what I'm going to do is just open my Jaclyn Hill palette back up, take my Jaclyn Hill JH40 brush here, and I'm going to tap into Crazy, which was the darker of the two purples used. Tap that off, and I'm just going to, because I've already got the black here, and then what I'm going to do is tap into where I've cut the crease slightly between there and the black. I'm just going to tap between, make sure that it's nicely sort of And when I blend, I'll always push it towards itself instead of in. Do the same on this eye, between the black and the pigment. If I go like this, I can't get as much precision as if I go like this. And dapper, dapper, dapper. And again, tap this. Make sure it's nicely blended between the two shades. And then what it's done is left a really nice bright strip of that up the middle. And what I then will do is take a really small detail brush, which again is from the Acid Rain collection, and I'm just going to tap into Temptress, which is the black, tap into Crazy, which is the dark of the two purples, tap that off, and I'm just going to line on top there, go back into Crazy a bit, and just make sure I haven't lost any of the definition. So that, like that, then just tap in, wiping this brush off a bit because it's got a really tapered end. I'm just gonna give that a little blend and soften that what I've just done up. And that's how I do my halo eyes. Nothing that much to it, but apparently it's my speciality, so there we go. I'm just going to pop off, do the same thing on this eye, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back with the other eye done. They're more or less even. I'm not actually mad at how the precision was actually pretty decent for me. Okay, so I'm going to quickly just pop back on and do my under eye. I did think should I just do it off camera, but just quickly do it now. So I'm just going to go into the sort of black first, taking this brush here and just putting that on the very end. I just pick up my mirror palette and tap off any excess even. And I'm just gonna take that along my lower lash line and up into what I've already just done here. And right up into the inner corner as well. And I'm gonna do the same on this eye. Just sort of stamp that along. I could do this with black eyeliner, but I'm not gonna do black in my waterline today. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just gonna take this tapered brush again, and I'm going to go into Crazy, which was the darker of the two purples that I used. Again, taking this right on just on the tip. And I'm just gonna smudge that along and smudge out the black a bit. Give it a wiggly woo along the lash line. There we go. And then taking the same brush again, I've just wiped it off, I've got a towel on my lap. Going to the Dance Party, which was the pink of the two shades, the lighter of the purples. And I'm just going to take that along. I think I'm gonna have to buy another one of this brush actually. Yeah, definitely think I should, because I love this brush so much. Just then wipe that off and go into the orange, which is called My Man, and take that underneath, but I'm not going like on the tip, I've gone slightly on the side just so I can really get that in. There we go, even enough. And then I want something small and kind of fluffy, but not as fluffy as the brush I used. So I'm going to take this, which is just a BH brush. I'm going into the yellow, which is called No Joke. I'm just going to run this right under and bring it up, make sure it's all nice and joined together. There we go. There are some beautiful shimmers in this palette. I just really wanted to show you guys this pigment because it's just so, so beautiful. I have some really beautiful pigments that I'm going to be adding when I do, you know, use like very big brand sort of named things. I'm just taking my big fluffy brush. I haven't added anything to it. I should really look in my mirror so I can see properly. And just wiggle that round. I'm going to correct the fallout that I've got there, don't worry. There we are. I am actually really happy with how this came out. So this is what we've got going on so far. I'm just going to pop off, do some liner and lashes, and I'll come back on and do my lips so I can show you what lip I'm going with as well, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. We have some liner lashes. I'm wearing another pair of the Pound lashes. These cost me $1.99, I think, in the style Starstruck. I am loving these lashes. I wore them in my Manny MUA, a different style, but same from Pound Lashes as well, in Sinner, I think it was. And they were beautiful. Again, I think everything's out of stock at the moment, but they do restock and things like that. But for $1.99, I mean, come on. I have an LA Girl Neon Liner, just the yellow one, which I've set with the yellow from the palette, which is a trick that I learned from my extremely beautiful friend, Nikita. She also has her own channel. I'll link that down below. She is just so stunning, and she's really, really calm as well. I love watching her. I find her so relaxing as well. She's lovely to watch, and she's really, really talented. And just put a bit of, you know, liner. I also added to my inner corner because I, you know, when you're looking in the mirror at yourself off, you know, off camera, I was like, let's shove something in the inner corner. So I used a K Rose B. This is another indie brand, little pigment in the shade Poseidon, I think it is. These were very inexpensive. She's a little, you know, one woman show indie brand. And I didn't even wet this or anything. I've just shoved it on the inner corner. So that's it there. I'll give you a little swatcheroo of that. So that's what it looks like. It's really beautiful as an eye topper, gorgeous in the inner corner, just a really, really nice colour. So in keeping with a slightly more indie theme, I'm going to use a OPV matte lip in the shade Wild Girl. So doing a lip on camera for me is always brave. Let's see if I can find a lip liner. Are you going to go together? No. No. No lip liner for me then. Just scrape this off. And here we go. So that's the liquid lip down. I love this colour so much, sort of really fiery colour. And then what I'm going to do is take my Doll Beauty lip gloss in the shade Sponsored. I don't love liquid lips just by themselves. I always put a bit of a gloss over the top. I'm just going to top that on the middle. Bear with. I promise it does work. And then I just tap it. Tap that out a bit, because it does have a nice bit of pigment to it. Actually, it's very nude. Tap that out, and it just feels a little bit more comfortable on the lip, and also enhances the middle there as well. So there we have it. Let's have a little spritz. I have spritzed my face a million times today. Highlight today is the Be Perfect X Mama Mitchell Sub-Zero highlighter palette. But let me know what you think of this look. I'm really happy with how it's turned out, actually. You know, the pigments are really nice. As I said, please go to indie brands for pigments. They're inexpensive. They do them really well. I'll link K Rose B and Kaima that I use, both of the pigments, down below. I'm racking up quite a pigment collection, but I think I might do a haul video of everything that I've bought since lockdown began. So do let me know if that would be something that you would be interested in. I'm really happy with how the Jaclyn Hill palette performed. No problems with that at all. The lashes I absolutely love. I'm really loving these LA Girl eyeliners. I'm thinking about buying a few more. I've got a few colours like blues and greens. I'm really happy with those. Just really happy with how this shirt turned out. I've not really done a proper tutorial before. Let me know if you think that I need to come in further, if I need to be a bit slower. Please, I'm really happy with as much feedback as you would like to give me, constructive feedback as you'd like to give me. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. I'll have my name pop up as if from nowhere, somewhere. I do post different looks over there, and I always say when I'm going to upload as well, if I've uploaded, and I add the links to that as well. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment and give me a like, ring that bell so you're notified of the next time I upload. But thank you very much for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!